It's been almost a year since I set up the Terrarium computer desk. How's it doing now? Well, don't get me started. The whole point of the build was to be able to see into the terrarium and enjoy the view, right? Well, I can't even see what's going on in there because condensation is always all over the glass and I can't enjoy the view. I also hate those holes I put in the glass. They give me the smell of mold and rotting plants all day long. And the bugs, they're always crawling out of the holes and up my arms. Oh, I'm getting itchy just thinking about it. And while all this is going on, my arms are being cut up by the live edge. Good thing they're completely asleep because I don't feel a thing. I also get that grunge look at a discount every time I stand up. And these stupid skinny legs, they look just like mine because I keep skipping leg day. They don't even do a good job holding up the desk. It's so heavy that they snap and it falls over. And all of this makes me so mad that I keep raging and punching a hole through the glass. I've had to replace it like 20 times now and painstakingly pick out all of the pieces. Well, thankfully, none of that is true unless you read through the comments of the previous video and let them tell the story of my creation. The truth is that this has been a really enjoyable desk to have and very easy to maintain. Let's take a closer look. Starting out with a quick overview of the desk after just under 365 days of continuous use and abuse. You gotta understand, I am not a gentle person. I'm not very delicate with my things. If they're getting used, they're getting used. My clothes, my cars, my shoes, everything like that, they're getting used, and my desk is no exception. And as you can see, it is held up very well. The live edge is still completely intact, looking clean. The glass has no cracks, fractures, or anything of that nature. I know that a lot of you out there apparently are ragers. I'm not a rager. Perhaps I was in my younger days, and perhaps I definitely was a rager in my younger days, but I've certainly chilled out in my old age, so no raging going on here. So the glass is completely intact, and a lot of you were very concerned as to how well you could actually see in the terrarium. So if you're looking at it now, this is how it looks from day to day. You can almost always see in there fairly clearly. There may be a little bit of condensation up on the top, but it's nothing that's going to obstruct the view or anything like that, and that's all due to those holes in the front of the system. So a lot of you are like, why'd you put holes in there? Well, I didn't even put those holes in the glass. It came like that. I bought the piece of glass from IKEA and it already had those 3 holes there. I guess the way it attaches to the bracket that it goes to, they go through those holes. So I actually bought the piece because it had those holes though. What these holes allow for is ventilation. I wanted to include them so I could actually see into the piece, since that's the purpose of it. Now, if you didn't have them or some other form of ventilation, it would definitely be condensated on the glass at most times, and you really wouldn't be able to see in there. So I wanted to include them, but with that, you have a downside, which is that I do have to water this occasionally, but I would rather have to do that than, of course, not even be able to see into the system at all. That said, I've only had to open this up and water it 2 times since I've set it up, which is pretty good considering that this has been set up for a year. Many of you are going on about bugs coming out of the holes, most prominently the springtails, which I added to the system. Again, they're in there to serve a purpose. They're going to eat any mold that may pop up on the hardscape or within the substrate, anything like that, so they're helping to keep the system clean. They also are going to only stay in favorable conditions, which just so happen to be down within the soil and in the false bottom where it's moist. So they have no need or want to come out of the system because it's all dry up here. They're already down there where it's ideal for them, so they're going to stay down there, and I haven't seen any of them at all, of course. There are snails that live in here though, and they have come out of those holes from time to time. I actually didn't even know they were living in there until I lifted up my keyboard one day and I saw one, and so I posted a video of it on TikTok and that went viral. I was looking at some of the plants in my terrarium desk and I flipped over my keyboard for some reason and I found this guy just crawling around on my keyboard. I'm guessing that he came out of this hole right here because the way that my keyboard was lined up at the time, it was right about there. So I'll put him back in the terrarium and let him do his thing. And I'm gonna have to imagine that most people aren't afraid of snails like they are with the springtail. I guess for whatever reason, most people seem to think they're some sort of worm. They're not. They have legs on them. They crawl around. But anyway, a snail may pop out from time to time. It doesn't bother me at all. I'll just put them right back in the terrarium. But other than that, there's no bugs going in and out of this system. It's not like stuff's piling out or crawling on me or anything like that. It's just a snail may pop out from time to time. A lot of you are also concerned as to how the plants are going to survive in here without artificial lighting. Now everything that I chose is able to be grown in low light conditions, so with that, just the ambient light coming in from the window or from my other tanks is enough to be able to sustain these plants. Now with that, they're very slow growing, but that's actually an advantage because that means I don't have to go in here very frequently to trim the plants to ensure that they're not taking up all of the space. And in fact, I've not done that since I've set this up. Now surprisingly, many of you were concerned as to how I get the glass off of here. And I could just loop something under one of the holes and pull it up that way. I've done it before, simple enough, but I have these suction cups that I use to move really heavy aquariums, and this is the thing for the job. First things first, we got to take a sniff to see how it's doing. That's what I'm talking about. Smells like the forest floor, which means that it's doing very well. Whenever we first come in here, you'll notice that things are looking pretty good, just a little bit different than whenever we set it up. The first thing worth mentioning is that the ferns didn't make it. Unfortunately, they're a little bit finicky in that if they don't have good airflow, sometimes they just won't thrive. And that's definitely what happened here. There was no air movement at all, and so with that, they just didn't make it. However, you'll notice that all the other plants, they're in here and they're doing quite well actually. And you'll see that I also put a little bit of leaf litter in here, as well as other botanicals, and also a couple of pieces of cork bark. So I did that after the ferns died, just to give a little bit more of a forest floor feel. I like the addition of those a lot. I think they help with the look. But why don't we go in here and do some maintenance? At this point, none of the plants really need trim due to size, but there's this leaf right here on the Photonia that I want to break off because it's looking a little unsightly. We'll just hide it over here underneath of this seed pod and a few leaves, and the springtails will eat it. I also want to adjust a few of these Photonias. They're sort of growing over the Cryptanthus here. I'd prefer if they're kind of woven in to the scape like this. I think that could be pretty cool. Since the Photonia did so well, I actually got some more, and these are the white vein variety, to put throughout just to get a little bit more of a denser look. I also have a very established cutting of Ficus pumila that I had to remove from the 180. The last addition I'll make is some more leaf litter. Now that's what I'm talking about. I don't know about you, but to me that definitely looks like something you'd see on the forest floor. You're just kind of walking around and below your feet, crunching on leaf litter and various little plants and different things. All kinds of nice textures, and what a cool look just as you're typing and working on the computer. Tell you what guys, it's something I really enjoy. Now we got to give it a little spray down. This is definitely something I should probably start doing a little more frequently just to make sure that the mosses get the hydration that they need. But again, I've only misted this thing twice since I've set it up, or maybe 3 times. I can't remember, 2 or 3 times, but either way, very minimal. And even then I probably didn't need to do it that many times. And of course, before we can put the top back on, we might as well give it a clean. Just spray it down with some water, wipe it down with some microfiber cloths. And here we are, ready for another year's worth of work. I don't know about you, but I really like how this desk turned out. It's by far one of my favorite projects to date, and it works really well for me. I know many of you are concerned about the live edge here. Is it going to mess with me while I'm typing or anything like that? I have no issues whatsoever, and obviously I do a lot of typing here at the computer. The last few things worth mentioning is that I just recently moved this desk. I got it under the window now, which is nice because I could see outside, and also I put it next to this tank. If you had this next to your workstation, what would you want to see in there? Let me know. I also got a new keyboard. I know a lot of you guys weren't too happy about the one I had previously. Still got the same mouse, still got the same fresh mouse pad. I don't care what any of you guys are saying. And I also drilled a hole right in the back there for a cord grommet. Just allows the desk to sit a little bit closer to the wall and keeps things just a little bit tidier. And I do believe that's all I have for you in this one, Serpa Squad. Let me know what you think about the progress of the desk down in the comments. Leave the video with a thumbs up if you like this sort of thing. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so to get us one step closer to having that gold play button right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Serpa Squad, take care and peace.